Welcome, everybody, to the Sam McKee Memorial Broadcast Set. I'm Dave Little, and it's time to go in the Sulky. My guest tonight is Johnathan Ahle. Johnathan, thanks so much for spending a couple of minutes with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You made the trip up from Freehold. How was the traffic?
Not bad today. Saturdays are always better than Fridays. So.
Yeah, Fridays sometimes it gets a little bit hairy, doesn't it?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, and obviously with the holiday time, it's probably just a little bit worse, isn't it?
Yeah, typically, yep.
All right, now let's get right into it. Johnathan, you're 26 years of age, and you've made a real big impression early on in your career here at the Meadowlands and obviously on the Eastern Seaboard. Were you a harness fan when you were growing up?
No, not at all.
Really?
Didn't do horses until I was about 17, 18 years old.
So what was your interest, when you were younger? Were you a baseball player? Were you a basketball player? What did you do?
I always liked sports. Really, surfing and snowboarding were my number one. Other than that, I liked making money. So I started working in horse racing,
All right, so you got a job in horse racing. You were 18 years of age?
Yep.
All right, and who did you work for first?
Sean Valley.
All right, so Sean basically has his horses. They race at Freehold for the most part?
Yonkers, Freehold, yep.
So when you were working for Sean, were you in the barn every day? Were you jogging his horses every day right off the bat, that kind of stuff?
No, when I started, I really just did, the basics, feed tubs and stalls and whatnot, and made my way to jogging and training and,
All right, so you learned from the ground up, no question about that. Now, when did you first get the inkling that you wanted to be a driver?
Sean really got it started, putting me in the amateurs. He was the one that, gave me the opportunity first, and that's what got me going.
All right, so it's 2021, and you're driving in the amateurs. Let's take a look at the first graphic that I set up called "Who You Calling an Amateur?" Now, first and foremost, we have Float Like a Butterfly, Sting Like Ahle. Now, you're racing the amateur ranks starting when you were about, 18, 19? Or, because I know you had 3 wins in 2021. That was the first year that you had winners.
I'm not sure if that was amateurs or maybe just overnights at Freehold. I really don't remember, but 2021, I was 23 or so.
All right. Now, 2022, you're racing in the amateur ranks, and obviously there's a lot of amateur racing that goes on here on Friday nights. What made you switch from being an amateur driver and taking a shot at being a professional?
It was really just, it was working out real well for me in the amateurs, and I had a lot of success, so I figured why not take a shot and make some money while I'm doing it and see what happens,
So you really had no inkling. You were just around the barns and you all of a sudden, let me give this a shot type of thing.
Right.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right, now you won a GSY Pro event at the Big M last June. We're going to take a look at that in a couple of minutes. How did that feel? Beating Scott Zaran and all the other guys.
Just winning alone at the Meadowlands is, it's not like any other track racing here. So that was fun. It was cool winning against the professionals as an amateur.
Now, you've had big career wins in your life. We won a $70,000 race down at Freehold. You've won, obviously, 9 races here at the Big M. And your biggest career wins came in the Maryland Sire Stakes for $85,000 a toss. Were you aware at the time that those were the biggest purses that you'd ever won?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely aware.
Now, how do you account for your meteoric rise in terms of wins? Like I said, 2 years ago, you won 3 races. 2 years ago, you won 45 races. And then this year, 277 on our graphic, but you won one today at Freehold, 278. Let's take a look at Keep On Moving, Keep On Climbing. The fact is, to go from 3 to 45 to 278, that's an incredible a rise in the standings. How do you account for this, Johnathan?
I guess I just got lucky, Dave. You need a little bit of luck, and I got a lot of help from a lot of good trainers and friends, so I got lucky.
Well, certainly you've shown a great aptitude for it because of the number of starts that you have this year and the number of wins you have. Let's take a little bit of a look at the Johnathan Ahle highlight reel. First and foremost, let's take a look at a horse by the name of Midnight Lightning. Like I said before, how about the special significance? Because this was an event where the amateur drivers took on the pros.
That was special to me just because it was Sean's horse, and it was always winning for Sean, and he taught me everything I know, and he was like a father. He's like a father to me now, but just winning for him was real fun.
Now, Paulina Hanover is another outstanding pacer and a big player in the kindergarten series. Let's take a look at Paulina Hanover winning. You know, when you get to drive great horses, it must be a great feeling.
Oh yeah, it certainly makes my job a lot easier. Yeah, she's a nice little filly, and pretty effortless to go that mile that she went.
So you went an inside trip here, and she's really going very well. 126-1, you hit the wire, and boy, Paulina Hanover's still looking good. 153-3.
Yeah, that was a lifetime mark for her, and like I said, she did it pretty easy. I think if I actually had asked her something, she probably would have gone a little more. Yeah, she's a nice all-around filly, you know. Now,
one more to look at, one that really caught my eye was a couple of months back. Hayesville took on Mad Max Hanover, and we all know how good Mad Max is. He's a sub-148 performer here at the Meadowlands, and yet here you are turning for home. Hayesville on the lead with Mad Max coming at you. Were you aware that he was coming at you?
Oh yeah, I knew he was there, and I didn't really plan on being on the front, but that Hayesville, he got a little warm on me, so that's where we landed, and you know, the trip just worked out. He hung on.
Now, I kept thinking that Andy was going to get by you, but you held on to the wire. Did you think that you had won the race?
Oh, it was close. I wasn't sure. It was a nail biter, that's for sure.
Well, you know, certainly that was the mile that said to me that Johnathan Ahle can play with the big boys at the Meadowlands. As you mentioned, you work for Sean Vallee. Now you're working for Noel Daly. How great has it been working for Noel and the opportunities that he's given you?
Oh, it's amazing working for Noel. He's a great guy. He's got really good horses. He's got a good team. And he's certainly given me a ton of good opportunities as well.
Now, moving forward, are you hopeful that Noel might be able to give you just a little bit more in terms of horse flesh going into next season's stakes season?
You know, I don't really think about it. I don't want to be greedy. You know, I'm grateful for the opportunities that he has given me.
Now, the next 3 to 4 months, we'll have some of the frontline guys here at the Meadowlands away on vacation, well-deserved vacation after the Grand Circuit grind, which will create opportunities for you and some of the younger fellas. So I assume that you're going to be here every Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah, I certainly plan on it.
All right, so you're going to be here during the colder weather here. Hey, one more thing before we go. Last night, I didn't use patty cake boost on my ticket. I mean, what's the idea of winning with this horse? And in all seriousness, did you get a little bit lucky there? Because I saw you down the backstretch. You're last or next to last. So are you saying to yourself, you know what, I'm driving for a check here, or do you still think that you have a small chance to win?
You know, looking at the program before the race, she, you know, always showed coming home real good. So they went a good first half, and I thought I might have a shot.
Well, certainly based on what I saw at the 5/8, you didn't have much of a shot. So I think you're being pretty humble there. But this horse did find plenty of pace along the inside in deep stretch.
Oh yeah, she never stopped. You know, just kept on coming.
Before we let you go, Johnathan, what are your long-term goals in the sport?
You know, just keep having fun and try to keep progressing.
278 wins this year. Maybe you'll end up just shy of 300. So next year, is it going to be 400 wins for Johnathan Ahle?
We're certainly going to try.
All right. Johnathan Ahle, our guest in the Sulky, thanks so much for spending a few minutes with us. We're going to let Johnathan get to work. And in about 60 seconds, Jessica Otten will jump in that chair. We'll talk about tonight's featured action when Jessica joins me. But for now, one last time, Johnathan, thanks so much for spending a few minutes.
Thank you so much for having me, Dave.
All right. We'll be back right after this.